Cybersecurity is an ever-growing field, and representation within it matters more than ever. We here at the Other Side of the Firewall podcast strive to highlight those movers and shakers and glass ceiling breakers, people of color who have made it to the other side of the proverbial firewall into those senior and C-suite level positions. Aside from interviews of IT professionals just like you, our crew will have fun discussing the latest and greatest news, measures to protect yourself from bad actors on the interwebs, and sprinkle in some games entertainment as well. Now with that out of the way, let's get to the show.
What's up, everybody? My name is Ryan Williams, and today, as always, I'm joined by Shannon Father Times. It's a tongue twister. I messed myself up.
That's good.
And Levon Black Dynamite Maynard.
Oh, dang. I like that one.
Today's show, we will go over our hot takes on the proposal to inject $10 billion into cyber IT as part of the future COVID-19 relief, as well as ISC² offering online exam proctoring for CISP and other of their high-profile exams. In topic one, Shannon will cover law enforcement and their ability to get around your cell phone's encryption. And then in topic two, we'll discuss how the gaming industry has a new threat from the dark net. Last but not least, of course, we'll go over our most important topic, in my opinion, what we've been playing. But first, how's everybody's week?
Well, for me, it's been a pretty good week. It's I know we kind of mentioned before a little bit of groundhogs, but let's see. This week, I played a few games here and there. I've been mostly focused around work, kind of staying busy with that. I feel like things are ever since COVID started, and I work remote with an IT company, so it's a lot of things have been kind of I guess some of the projects have been kind of increasing just because I think companies in general kind of get more remote and kind of getting their infrastructure set up in a way that they can operate remotely. So it's been pretty hectic in that respect. But besides that, I've been enjoying life, kicking back with the wife and the dog, and just enjoying some time together. How about you guys?
Man, no complaints over here, man. I think the reason I ended up with the nickname Father Time Times is because I ended up with another adult this week. So I had my oldest son just turned 18, so I got two adults.
Ooh,
yeah. So
congratulations on that.
I don't know, man. They're still in my house, so I don't know.
All right, I was gonna say, you ready to kick them out?
Still spending money on them, but
that's right.
I'm happy for him. You know what I mean? I've been joking with him leading up to this that the day after, I told him yesterday this is gonna be the last night in his bed. He's got to figure it out after that, right? Like you got to get out.
Ooh, dang.
He's a senior in high school, so I don't think I can really get him out of here yet. You know what I mean? Still got stuff to do.
Right.
But no, like we had just a little celebration for him yesterday. So no, it was a good week. Did not do any studying. I hate to say it. I know, Ryan, you're gonna add, but there it is. I did not do any studying this week, and it's on me. I know.
I'm so disappointed. I know. So disappointed. Where are your priorities at? All right. I know. Tell your family no parties.
It's crazy because it was just family too, right? So it's not like we did anything really extravagant. We didn't take them out to the club or nothing like that, But
at the club,
you know what I mean. But that's pretty much it for me.
Okay, that's what's up. So I joke, like, yes, I did call you that because you got two grown people that you spawned in your life, but my oldest turned 15 today, so I'm getting up there. So she's 15 today. Happy birthday, Ayana. She's not going to listen to this podcast, so that was all. But I'm proud. She's 15, so that's awesome. Aside from that, man, I've been studying and playing games. I'm in the middle of a 4-day weekend because I got it like that, apparently. Yeah, but it's been raining nonstop for the past 3 days. Like literally, I don't know if you guys can hear the raindrops, but it feels like I'm in the Stan video, like Dido's in the background singing. It's like nonstop raining. It's ridiculous.
You're not getting random letters from people, are you? Dear Ryan, you don't like to call or write your fans.
No, not yet. But man, it's crazy. So unlike Shannon, I have been studying because I'm
Mm,
trapped.
dang.
I'm trapped here by myself. So I finally completed that Cisco DNA assurance. Finally knocked that out. It was killer test at the end, but I am 16 credits out of 30 now, so I'm getting there.
Nice.
Um, and
Nice.
then in between time, I think I put 10 hours into The Last of Us. So I'm about halfway through. I think
Mm,
The Last of Us
mm.
Part Two is crazy.
Yeah, it's
Like
crazy. I think
I'm becoming a bad person because I'm out here killing for sport in this game. Like,
you better be managing your inventory, man. You only get like 5 bullets every like couple hours.
yeah, man. Well, I'm out here stealth. I'm taking everybody out one
Okay, you
by
do.
one,
That's right. Sneaking up on everybody.
like a serial killer. But
That's right.
but so this week I want to do things a little bit different, right? So after the show, normally we do our little side channel talk where we go over the topics that we didn't discuss, and usually it's pretty quick. You know what I mean? Like just down and dirty. Like this is how we feel about this, and maybe we can throw it into the next show. But I have no patch notes, so I decided to create a new topic, which I know you guys love me, switching things up at the last minute, called Hot Takes. So this week on Hot Takes, we have the president-elect Biden includes over 10 billion in cyber and IT funds as part of the COVID-19 relief proposal. So I'm excited by this. Obviously, things are a little bit different now. We're in a post Solar Winds world. So I think the money is going to be dumped in there and do good, right? Uh,
Mhm.
so aside from partisanship and all that good stuff, I mean they're throwing in like $3 million towards the technology program, another 690 for CISA to improve security monitoring and incident response. Like they're going all out. So I just want to get your guys' take on this spending. Like, how do you feel about it?
Yeah, I think that's pretty much I don't know, long overdue. If it hasn't already been, I don't know if this has been something that's been done in other administrations or not, but just to hear that there's kind of a focus on cybersecurity, it definitely seems like a uh, obviously a great thing. It's a big win because cybersecurity is definitely important, especially in this day and age when everybody's working from home, majority, and you kind of relying on these infrastructures as well as also we have a lot of our important infrastructure is connected to networks and IT stuff like obviously like energy and obviously our military DoD establishments and any kind of political office and all these kind of things that are important that have obviously important information can have people's credit cards can have people's socials and all this kind of stuff, date of births and all that data available. So I think it's important that we invest money into these fields so that we can make sure we have a strong infrastructure set up so we can prevent any would-be attackers from getting in. And also we saw what happened with solar winds and some of the things that got affected from there, and that's going to be years worth of uh, research and analysis and trying to dig into these networks to figure out what did they touch, what did they change, how is it going to impact us in the future? Are they going to be able to get back in there somehow? So I think it's great that they've kind of made a focus for it. Um,
Yeah, definitely.
yeah. What do you guys have any more
So,
opinions on that
so I
too?
know for me, right? I retired from the military in 2019, and I remember this was always something. At least 4 years before I retired, it was always something that was a need, right? But it was one of those things
Hmm.
where we didn't really have like everything that went down in 2020 when it came to all the different breaches and you got all your ransomwares and things like that has come out. I don't think it was as important then as we see it is now, right? I,
Hmm.
I
Right.
love to see this. I love to see this. This would have helped me. Back some years ago when a laptop got taken out of somebody's car. If it had been, BitLocker or something, my social might not have got out there. You know what I mean?
Right.
But way
Right.
back
Yeah.
when, that's probably a good 6, 7 years ago. Probably longer than that. Now that I think about it, but I mean, I was caught up in that. Where I got the letter saying, "Hey, been exposed, this, that, and the third," and they get that. What they always offer, right, Ryan? It's always that protection, right? That
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm
Yeah,
super
yeah.
protected.
But, it would have been nice to have, some type of cybersecurity, like I said, like BitLocker or something on the laptop back then, or something to keep it from being exposed, and I wouldn't have had to deal with that. But this is long overdue, long overdue. And I know there have
Hmm.
been previous administrations that have fought for this and included this, but I don't think the number's ever been as high as this is right now. And it's because of
Right.
No,
right.
I don't. Yeah, I don't think so. I
Hmm.
think there it's. I think it even stated like 200 million just to what was it? 200 million just to help with rapid hiring of technology experts. So they're dumping money in like crazy. Like, hey, we know we got shortages and gaps. We want to get the right people in here. I'll take a
Right.
million if they want to
Yeah.
pick me
Yeah.
up.
Slide up
I'll
in
take a
there,
quick million. Yeah,
get a little bit of that cash.
I'll fix
But to
everything.
the point of this
$1 million.
podcast, though, right? Like this is what we're looking for, right? Like this is where we send the message out there to the minorities that are in the cybersecurity field, like, hey, your time is coming. You know what I mean? You see it
Oh
right
yeah,
Right.
now, 200 million
Right.
just for that.
The time
Yeah,
is now.
exactly.
yeah, definitely. And I think we talked about it before. Like we alluded, like it's not the size of the pie is the proper proportion.
Correct.
Like you said, it needs to be divvied
Right.
up properly. And I think I had another analogy on top of that, just saying that it's not even full to the top of the pan like it's supposed to be. Like there's millions of jobs vacant right
Yep.
now. Um, so this
Hmm.
money will definitely go a long way. Um,
Right.
but to pivot from that, since we're talking about hiring people, you have to have the right certifications, right? So
Hmm.
now ISC squared, which I always forget to say their full name. So the International Information System Security Certification Consortium, or ISC squared if you're nasty. Uh, Jan Jackson reference. A lot of young kids ain't gonna get it, but they are now offering online testing. So not right now. They're taking applications and people can apply for it. But starting in February, you can take your CISP test remotely for the
Mm.
first time ever. Last time I had my CISP test, or I should say, yeah, the last time I had my CISSP test. I'm dying today. Um, I even had to have a palm scan. I got patted down, I got wanded, and
Mm.
I had to do my palm scan because it's considered a
Dang.
professional level test. So they have to verify you are you by any means necessary. But now
Dang.
they're going to do it from the house. So I'm of two minds, but I'll let you guys kind of give your opinion.
Yeah, that's pretty intense. I didn't realize they were so strict on their testing requirements. That like they pretty much like stripped you down and did like some deep cavity searches on you to make sure you are who you are, who you say you are, and then make sure everything's on the up and up. But I mean, that's pretty good on them to make sure everybody's, you know, people aren't trying to take a test with somebody else. But it's awesome that they're giving this online option. I mean, this is going to be right up Shannon's alley when he goes for his, and it's I think it's a great opportunity for people just to be able to from the comfort of their own home be able to take these tests. And obviously, it's always kind of a maybe the hassle or just like you got to schedule time to go to a particular site if you got to drive out there and check in like you did, as opposed to just being able to find a quiet area of your house and just pull up your laptop and start taking a test. It seems pretty convenient. I definitely would be taking advantage of this myself if I was after this at the moment. But right now I'm a little bit more focused on some other stuff. But the CISSP is something that I want to eventually obtain in my IT career. But with that, what you think about this, Shannon? This is
So,
sounds like
so
some
I
good news for
mean,
you.
it would if I didn't reschedule my test out to March, right? Because because the time frame for this is so it
Oh
lists in
yeah.
there the CAP, CCSP, CCSLP, ACISP, ISSP, CISP, ISAP, CISP, ISEP, CISP, ISSMP, and SCCP. They're going to be administering February 15th through the 21st, right? And then the next week is for the
Mm,
CISP examinations, the 22nd through the 28th. Now, I'm outside of that window, right? Like this was I
mm,
rescheduled mine to
right.
March. Was that 2 weeks ago, last week, whatever it was. So I was outside this window. But even then, they're taking a maximum 2,000 as part of this pilot test, right? So that's gonna be quick. Like I know that's
Right.
gonna come like quick, fast, and in a hurry. So um, it's outside of the window that I'm looking for. I mean, I could see if I could get
Yeah.
in there, but I don't.
Right. You could make it
Hey,
earlier, right? I mean,
but
that's a joke.
the way I'm not studying every week, I don't know. You know? I don't want to waste that voucher, but no, this
That's
is,
right.
I mean, this is a good thing, but I don't understand how the logistics are going to work out based off what you said, Ryan, right? Like, so they're not going to do a palm scan over anybody's webcam, right? Is it just a matter of, okay, show me 2 forms of ID, show me the room? Because like I said, I've known some people that have done CEH this way, and what they have them do is just show them around the room, make sure there's no books available. If you have a whiteboard up, make sure it's clean. So, I mean, it's not quite the same, right?
Mhm.
Like, I mean, but we'll see. We'll have to see what the results of this are. If for whatever reason, it goes well, they may continue this in the future. But I mean, this is one of those things where I think they're doing it now, so they can just kind of recoup, or kind of stay in line with getting, some of the funds they get for taking these tests. It's like 600 and some odd dollars to take
Yeah.
the test, right? So for me, my
Mhm.
hope is that this isn't a permanent thing, because to me they're doing this because of COVID, right? So my hope is that we get enough vaccines out there, and we get to a situation to where we won't have to do this. You can be in rooms with people again. You know what I mean? Without the fear of, okay, am I going to
Right.
be in that 2% that's going to die? You know what I mean? But but no,
Right.
I mean, this is it's interesting. I'm curious to see after February. I don't know when they'll come out with results to say, hey, this is what we got from this pilot, and whether or not they're going to continue with it. But I'd be interested to see how it works out for them.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm kind of the same mind. Like I'm happy that people who, because they probably have a huge backlog, right, of people who wanted to test but couldn't test. So I don't want them to have to hold that burden on for months on end till they can get to a testing center. So I'm happy for those people. What my fear is that it dilutes the stats. So I don't want there to be a spike in CISPs. Like I do want there to be more CISPs. Don't get me wrong. I want all my friends to be CISPs. Um, However, I don't want this to become a racket, kind of like you have your Security Plus and other such, where there's pockets of people who are taking the test for other people. Like I'm sure they can figure this out. I'm sure they can make it work. However, like I said, the scrutiny was definitely there. Like when I got done being having my privacy invaded and got to take my test, I felt very secure. Like yeah, nobody's cheating on this one.
Right.
Um, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Like in that month, if we jump to higher than average pass rates, either it's because people had so much time to study during the pandemic, or it's because some funny business. So we will
Right.
see. We'll see what happens. I mean, the pass rate is so low anyway, so I'm sure they want more people to pass
Right.
as well. I was tempted. Like I have not been studying enough, but I saw that they're doing the ISSAP and EP, and I was like, maybe, but no, not in 2 months. I ain't got that in me.
Hmm.
I'll
Yeah.
just be throwing money away at that point.
Right. Yeah, that's for sure. You definitely want to take some time to get prepared for all these tests because they are pretty extreme, from what I've heard.
Yes,
I've never actually taken one, but all the uh, all the headaches I've heard, from yourself and other people dealing with passing the test, I know it's a beast. So I know the variations of the test are also a beast. So you got to make sure you take your time out. Don't be like a Shannon. Don't be like slacking off and like. No, I was joking.
Oh, I'm doing my fair share of slacking. This is true. No, no,
Just
no
joking.
lies detected. I got you, man.
got you. But no, I appreciate y'all for entertaining the hot topics. We did it.
Yeah,
Maybe it'll stay, maybe it'll go. We'll
that's
see.
right.
We'll see what the weeks bring.
That's good. No, I like it. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
So back to official business, right? Let's get to topic one.
All right. So topic one, right? So this one is from Wired .com, right? January 13th, they published this, and it's how law enforcement gets around your smartphone's encryption, right? So when I was reading this, I actually, we'll get to it a little bit later, but I actually tried something that they had in here that didn't seem to work, but I don't know. I don't know what they were looking at, if I had maybe a different version or whatever it is of an Android. But what it comes down to, right, is for years, law enforcement agencies around the world, including the United States, have increasingly called for backdoors in the encryption schemes that protect your data, right? And they say it's because of national security. They're like, okay, we need these backdoors for national security reasons, this, that, and the third. And we all know that's a slippery slope, right? But there's new research
Right.
out there that says that governments already have the methods and the tools to make this happen on Android and iOS systems, right? And when you look out there, right, Android and iOS, those are kind of like that's pretty much the big two, right? Like, I don't know if there's anybody that I know that doesn't either have an iOS or Android system, but and what it comes down
Hmm.
to is that law enforcement agencies actually have the tools to grab um, uh, chunks of data, chunks of encrypted data on your phone already, right? So the way they go about doing it is they if they get your phone, they grab these big chunks, and it's from let me see if I can find these companies again. Different companies that they use. Let's see if I can find it. Contractor, Israeli law enforcement contractor Celebrite, and in the U.S. it's a forensic firm called Grayshift, right? That actually provide the tools to be able to do this. And one of the things that they did that I tried, and I tried this with my wife when I read this article last night, right? Is they say that your phone is in a certain type of state before you boot it up, right? So if you restart your phone, you don't log in, you're logging into your phone, no matter how you do it, whether it be PIN, facial recognition, fingerprint. It's in a certain state that has not, in essence, provided the encryption key to open everything up, right? And one of the tests that they had on here
Hmm.
was that they had that they mentioned in the article that I tried was if I restart my phone, right? Don't put anything in there to log in or anything like that. If I have somebody in my contacts, you know how if you have someone in your contacts that gives their name, right? Mine will say Ryan or Levon, you know what I mean, with the phone number, blah, blah, blah. That's based off I've already
Hmm.
inputted my information for it to access my contacts. It's unencrypted data at that time, right? So they say try it
Hmm.
by uh, by restarting your phone. Don't put any type of authentication into it, and then have someone call you. And what they say in the article is that it'll just show the number, right? Because it hasn't accessed my contacts. It hasn't gotten my encryption key, whether it be my PIN, fingerprint, facial recognition, whatever, to access that information. It just shows it
Hmm.
as the phone number. And it didn't work. It didn't work for me.
Right.
I was like, I don't know if
Mm.
maybe I just have a different version of Android or what the situation may be. And I tried it two different ways. I tried it doing a restart on my phone. I tried it doing a shutdown. Left it shut down for about a minute. Opened it up, and nope, still came up with my wife's contact information. So I was like, well, that doesn't seem legit, but I'd have to look into it a little bit more to see if maybe there's something different. Maybe you know what I mean. Again, this article
Right.
is only 3 days old at this point. You know what I mean. So it's like I figure that would still be fairly accurate.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, it was interesting.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's odd though, because that happens with me with my phone, iOS device. Like if I don't log in, I don't put my PIN or my face or whatever in, it'll just give me default messages. It'll ask me to log in before I can actually
And that's how it's
view
supposed
whatever
to
that
work.
message
Yeah,
is.
that's how it's supposed to
I never
work,
try to
according
call
to this
though.
article. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. I haven't tested that. I got to test that out later. I haven't tried that before. I can't think of any scenario where I've been. I mean, I know sometimes, obviously, like just in general, like if something comes up in my notification bar, I'm already logged in, and I try to like access the notification bar, like actually like reply to the message, it'll make me
Yeah.
authenticate with the thumbprint or pin before I can actually get to my notification section. But I have to test it out with that, like just restarting my phone and seeing what kind of data it has access to. Because yeah, I know encryption is pretty important. I mean, being able to protect your data and the fact that somebody has your phone, I suppose uh, if they use the some of these techniques, they might be able to get inside of your device some other way. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's pretty interesting. I have to try to test that out and see if I can reproduce that kind of response. Um, I have one plus phone, so
Yeah.
it's an Android operating system. Um, and you said you have an Android
I
as
do. I
well,
have a
Shannon. Or
Samsung
yours?
S9,
Yeah,
Galaxy S9. Yeah.
S9. Okay, I have to try that out.
I'm still living back in the past. So I have a iOS device. I have an 8 because it still works, right? I'm cheap. I'm a cheap dude. And as long as they support it, I'm gonna keep it. Um, but what I was surprised about in the because I didn't know this. I didn't know that those features were built in that way. Like I knew the keys were buried pretty deep. I didn't know that they had several layers before you got to the key to unencrypt your data. But what surprised me in the article is like, yeah, these tools are provided, but it still is dependent on the developer. So just because Apple says, hey, here is a bunch of tools and this is the hierarchy of where I guess the encryption key should sit, they don't have to abide by that. So there's a lot of headroom there. So um, again, if you provide these tools and nobody uses them, then what good are they? You know, like um, I would think Apple should. I'm sure there's minimum standards. It's like, hey, um, at least these things need to take place before you can unencrypt data, or data has to be encrypted a certain way, yada yada yada. But I think that it should take it a step further, maybe that you will build a hierarchical, um, I guess, encryption or de-encryption
Hmm.
path for your keys, because then that would save everybody the trouble.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so that kind of surprised me because Apple has been pretty big about not providing federal assistance. Like I remember there was a guy who I should have looked it up, but I didn't. But he committed a crime and he passed away, I want to say. And they asked Apple to unlock the phone. They would not. They're like, that's not a valid reason for search, and we don't have to give you um, the password to get into his phone.
Hmm.
Obviously, we have it, but we don't have to give it to you. And I don't believe they did. I believe at one point it was in this great ethical area where they were like, well, why don't we just use the fingerprint from the deceased man to unlock his phone, and that had its own um, legal implications. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because he's not giving you his
No,
permission to unlock his phone.
Apple's always been like that though. So
Yes.
it was the couple out in California a few years ago too, right? When they did the mass shooting, it was the same thing. The FBI, yeah.
Oh yeah,
Apple
I
was like,
forgot
"No,
about
we're not
that.
going to
Yeah,
give it to you." The FBI got into it anyway, if I remember correctly. But Apple was like, "No, we're not gonna help you, do this." And that was pretty much a terrorist attack, right? Like they were just went around shooting at people for whatever reason. Yeah,
yeah, I do remember that now. Yeah, and Apple had a hard stance, like, no, we're not doing that. Which I mean, like, yes, these people were wrongdoers and what have you. But I guess it's a slippery slope. So it's like if they had given them the keys to the kingdom then why wouldn't they give them the keys to the kingdom to unlock your phone as well? So
Yeah.
there's definitely something there.
Yeah. That's always going to be a kind of a slippery slope. Just trying to. I mean, obviously, it's they want to get access to the phone for a good reason, and at the same time, there's people have their rights of like privacy in certain respects, and I mean, unless they've been like, I don't know, formally charged with a crime. I'm not sure if they. I don't know how the law process works, but I'm not sure if they have not been formally, charged with a crime or they have like a warrant or some sort. They actually pull data from somebody's device. Um, whether or not they can actually do that without those things is I think very questionable. And
Yeah,
obviously,
I
people,
think
yeah,
no, go ahead. I was gonna say I think they can. I think the issue with this one was encryption. They were like,
yeah,
well, we can break into it, obviously, but it'd be so much easier, Apple, if you just give
right. And that's
me
what they've
the
been asking,
password
and that's what they've been
right,
asking for
to
years,
get to
right?
the
Yeah.
data.
hmm yeah, and just for them to like, freely give it up. Because you think I don't know, you would think maybe Apple or any other company would want to work with these law enforcement people that are I don't know if they have a terrorist phone and they want to get into it that they'd be like, oh yeah, here, take the information so you can get in there and do whatever you need.
But I think it becomes a
Um,
sliding line,
but
Lamar. No, I think that's why, right? So it's like we've talked about this
yeah,
before. It's like
right,
Minority Report, right? Like if the FBI comes to you before someone's committed a crime, like and
hmm
asks for it, like, do you give it up? You know what I
right,
mean? We're trying to prevent a crime that we're pretty
right,
sure is going
right,
to happen.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
right, right, yeah, and that's kind of how I was going. That's how I was mentioning that. Whether or not they are actually charging somebody with a crime or they think they may be doing a crime. It's kind of like one, it's two different things. They've already done something. They cause some chaos, and now you're trying to dive into their all their devices and their equipment and the computers, the cell phone. They're going through their house and looking through their files and all this kind of stuff, trying to get every bit of information and evidence you can find. Versus somebody that's like, well, we picked this guy up off the street. We think he might be up to something, but we're not quite sure. But can you give us access to all his information now? That's kind of like a little bit more questionable, but
Right.
uh,
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah,
So I don't keep track of all those stories. Like now I find them interesting, obviously, but I didn't in the past, not per se anyway. But I would be interested to see if they always toe the same line, because if they do, because I don't know if they've done something contrary and actually given up the password or what have you for some in a different situation. But I would think the implication is if they always say no, but then they have a breach, let's say like a FireEye breach, and they want to call the FBI in or someone else to help them investigate, they could have already burnt the
Mm.
bridge. You know what I mean? So I would commend them for taking a stand if that's the case, because
Hmm.
that could come back to burn them in the future. Because as we saw with the FireEye situation, like no one is unhackable. Um,
Right.
but I don't know. So you know what I mean? So I can't champion that, you know what I mean, Apple is a badass per se, because they may have done the opposite in one of these situations. I just don't know about it. But that's definitely interesting. Like I would like to see if that ever comes to pass. Like, is there ever a federal mandate where they have to give them back doors?
Hmm.
That would be
That,
pretty
that's
pretty
that's an
wild.
interesting view you bring
Right.
up, Ryan. I
Right.
didn't think about it like that. Yeah, I mean, you, so here's the thing: the FBI or any of these law enforcement agencies are supposed to be a service to the people, right? Like they're supposed to do it in service of the people to protect us for whatever their mission or their mission statement is. But you're right in that the head of the FBI may be like, "Well, I remember 2 years ago I needed your help. You know, I may slow roll this or something like that." That's an interesting point of view. I didn't even think about.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and people are petty,
yeah.
so there's always something to keep in the back of your mind. But pivoting from that to topic two. Hey, listeners. Please remember that you can support this podcast directly by becoming members of the show's Patreon. Here, you'll be able to listen to the podcast 7 days early, completely ad-free. However, in these trying times, we understand that you may not be able to become a Patreon just yet. In that case, please listen to the show once it's available on free feeds, leave us constructive feedback, and share with your blurred friends and family. Thank you. So topic two is we've kind of talked about this in the past, but it's kind of a bigger roll up, right? So there's a website called Keela or Kayla. I'm not sure. It looks like a British website, so pronounce it British-ish, I guess. But their article entitled "Darknet Threat Actors Are Not Playing Games with the Gaming Industry." In this article, they talk about how big the game industry is becoming. So back when I started paying attention to the numbers, they were only double digit million dollar numbers, or I'm sorry, double digit $1 billion numbers.
Hmm.
But it looks as though they'll reach 196 billion in revenue by 2022. So I mean, the game industry is just getting bigger.
Yeah.
Like due to COVID, due to just enthusiasts, due to people not wanting to go outside and play. Like everyone's gaming. Like it's the thing to do. But in this article, it talks about how, because it's so popular, it's becoming a target. Kind of like how Apple wasn't a target back in the day. It was like, oh, we're going to attack Windows machines because everybody has a PC. And
Right.
now everyone's a target, right? Because now you see iOS devices getting targeted all the time. Now they're targeting gamers and as well as client-facing servers and services. So they stated that they found nearly 1 million compromised accounts pertaining to gaming clients and employees, and 50% of them offered for sale during 2020. So it's like wholesale, like come get these credentials so that way you can turn these clients into bots. Maybe you could just steal more data from them and what have you. But we talked about it, and in the article it says that 25 big gaming companies have been found to be in this compromise. Like we've talked about Capcom, we've talked about Sony, and the like. But it seems to be worse than predicted. They also have like Koei Tecmo on here, but it looks as though a lot of their clients are being compromised. A lot of their customer data is being stolen, and a lot of their actual internal employees are losing their credentials to the site that I'm looking at right now. I think it's Cyrillic, so that'd be a Russian site that's selling people's data. You have other website that also looks like it's Russian, um, but it's a matter of concern. Basically, is what the article is trying to get into. Like, there needs to be better protections out there.
Hmm.
What are your thoughts, Yvonne?
Yeah, so I think that's very very interesting. Of course, it's uh, obviously I want my gaming to be secure. I don't want nobody accessing my account when I'm on Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo, whatever I'm doing. Um, but it's kind of interesting just how I was glancing at that article that you shared that it's I noticed some of the credentials that they're obtaining is coming from like breach databases, um, as well as like just compromised accounts through like cookie sessions and um, things of that nature. Just able to get these credentials and able to access these accounts. It's these attackers are getting more and more sophisticated. They're able to get into these networks and able to access these databases, and these databases are filled with once they get access to like the database is like the I don't know, it's like the touchdown. Uh, Obviously, the databases tend to have a lot of list of users, list of like users and passwords, and all their like profile information, things like that. So once they get into there and get into that database, and they're able to access those accounts, they can even do some, especially if they get to the corporate accounts, the accounts of people that actually work at the company, and able to kind of uh, like act as or try to act as if they are the employee, and send out malicious emails, or even send an email to the boss and something like that, and try to get like further information, maybe get some bank account information, or they start sending out spam information across the network. And especially if they're like they have one of the HR teams like email address, and all of a sudden they send if you guys want to get paid, you got to go to this link here and enter in your banking account information to update our database. And all of a sudden people are typing that information and they're giving it to these hackers, and then their bank accounts getting drained out. So all this kind of stuff is just stuff I could imagine happening if they were sophisticated enough and able to kind of dig into the network and just kind of snowball their access and their impact across the company. But it's a pretty interesting story. I think, like you mentioned before, that just the fact that everybody's home now, everybody's gaming. I'm sure people are like probably dusting off old accounts they haven't used forever, and um, people sometimes use like very simple passwords on their accounts. And I know we mentioned it before, but I like to set up multi-factor in a lot of my accounts as a way to kind of prevent a lot of if somebody gets at your password, that they still have to go through another layer to even try to get to your account. So I think things like that could come in handy for situations like these. But I don't know if you guys had some more opinions on it as well. I think
So I think
it's
for
pretty
me,
interesting.
right, and we've mentioned this before in past shows, right? Public trust, right? I mean, we could probably name off 10 people off the top of our head we know that play video games. We mention it every week, right? What's LeBron playing? What's Ryan playing? What's Chandler? Like we mention it every
Right,
week. But
right.
public trust, I think, is the big thing here, right? Because honestly, I'm surprised this didn't come out sooner. And like you said, Ryan, like it is on a much larger scale than what was previously thought or advertised out there before. But this is one of those things. Again, I don't want to. I don't want to start playing games by a company that is not protecting information. You know what I mean? Especially, and with a lot of these games now that I see, like there's always some type of online presence or something, or you can log into, like I know I want to say Electronic Arts does it, EA does it. You can log into like an EA account, and they may give you different what am I trying to say here? Like when you play the game, you may get different like bonuses and things like that. Or, you know, yeah, there you go. So like
Oh, like
you
yeah,
start
like
getting all that
downloadable
stuff,
content.
right? If you log into EA.com, you may get a different skin for this football team or something, whatever it may be. And these are the types of things that are going to start driving people away, right? Like I don't know if people's love of gaming is enough to where they'll want their information out there and they start losing their money over it because you know what I mean. All of a sudden, somebody got into EA.com and they got your email and they got your phone number, they got your address, like everything that they want you to register with, right? Which is why I think the public trust aspect of this is probably what worries these companies the most. Because if you lose public trust, you start losing the money that comes into your company, right? And it's not like these these companies are just doing one game at a time, right? Like they do multiple games, so it's not like, okay, uh, you're only going to lose, lose business for whatever popular game you have. No, you have 25 games under your banner that are probably going to be boycotted or for whatever reason just not played anymore, and that's just not what they want. And this should make them take it more serious. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. Like what Levon said, like MFA or multi-factor authentication, like is paramount, right? That should be built into their platforms as well as a few other things. Uh, I think I had a point. I think I lost it. Oh, so kind of going off what you said, like yeah, there's so many of these different accounts like Uplay and all that stuff. But it's a snowball. Yes, there it is. I can point both those together. So like Levon said, snowball effect. So it makes the platform a vehicle to get more information out of you. Is the biggest problem because they're able to use that as a attack surface and then pivot, and then maybe they get into your corporate portal because you're working from home or some kind of internal resource or your social media account, your kid's school portal, bank account, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? Um, just like SolarWinds, like the breach that happened with SolarWinds wasn't about getting SolarWinds and stealing their information. It was about getting into all these other systems. So
Mm-hmm.
you definitely have to be careful because you don't want to be part of that larger attack. Let's say like an Epic store or something like that gets attacked, and then they get all those people's data. That would be
Right.
crazy, or Steam or what have you, just because those are such huge platforms, or Xbox Live, PSN.
Mm-hmm.
Nintendo already had it, but it didn't really amount to much. But they stated ways to protect yourself would be raising awareness to employees about the risk presented. So, like we all have suffered through IA training every year. It's just those who work for the military or are employed in some way through the military. You're always going to do IA training. Enforcing password changes. So don't use the same password for all 1,000 of your accounts. Kind of like what Levon was saying last week. Like definitely switch it up. Maybe have like
Password manager.
a key pass or some other kind of encrypted password. Yeah,
Yep.
password manager. So you don't have the same password for everything. And then it said also implementing unique passwords, which we talked about, like passphrases versus dictionary words and static numbers and things of that nature. And then obviously MFA is paramount, just because it just frustrates. It frustrates me as the consumer. So I know it frustrates a hacker when they try to use my account that has MFA on it. You also have authenticators. Like, oh man, I hate authenticators with a passion. Because I usually work in a building where I can't have my phone and it has no windows, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
So if I need to get into that account, I have to run outside and in enough time to get the code and then
Because it
run
expires in
back
like 10
inside.
minutes, right? Yeah, exactly how
Right.
it is.
Yeah.
With yeah. So but just imagine if you're a hacker, you're just like, you know what? I'm going on to the next person. I ain't messing with that. It's
Right.
not worth my time. I'm gonna get
Right.
this dude who has admin for his password. That's
Eh,
that's my
yeah.
jam.
That's the easy go.
Right.
And I think they have
So
we have at my workplace they have I can't even think of the name of them now, but there's like little like when I say like kind of key fob things that have like a repeating code or like a alternating code.
the
Uh,
RSA keys?
yeah, like RSA keys. Those are pretty
Yeah,
cool too.
those are
When you
cool.
work in like a secure environment, you can have those handy, as you don't have to like obviously you don't have your cell phone with you, so you don't have to run out and. But depending on what's offered with the multi-factor, the authentication token resource that you're trying to connect to, that a lot of people have been using those nowadays to kind of alleviate that hassle of trying to, like you said, race out to your phone that's locked in some, locked in a bin or in your car or something like that, uh, so you can get your data real quick. But
Right,
figure I just throw
exactly.
that out
So
there.
yeah, no, RSA keys are cool. Like when I worked in Virginia, I was going through cleaning up like a comm closet, and I found a box, and it was super dusty. Blew the dust off. Opened the box. It was full of RSA keys. So I was like, "What are these? Like they're all like counting down like a bomb, right?" So I'm like, "What
Yeah.
is this?"
Yeah, it looks like it's about to explode
So
or something.
Yeah, so I showed one of the contractors who had been there for a while. I was like, "Hey, I found these," and he was like, "Put those back." I was like, "Why?" He was like, "We don't want to use those."
Oh, damn. Yeah, they
Like,
try to
because
avoid
they
it.
are super secure and whatnot. But he was like, it's we I have to sign them out to everybody. They're going to lose them.
Yeah.
He was like, "No, just go hide those back where you found them."
Right.
But
I,
that is it's super secure though.
yeah, yeah. They work. It's just that people don't either want to deal with, managing them or, people don't feel like dealing with the multi-factor portion of it. Um,
Right.
but yeah, I definitely can see that. I can see people kind of like shying away from it and trying to make their, because I know we talked about it before, but it's kind of like that functionality versus security, where you kind of have to have that balance where things are easy enough for you guys to just knock out tasks without having it take a whole day or having to log in multiple times throughout the day. But
Oh yeah,
you
that's
also,
that CIA triangle right there.
right, right, absolutely.
All right. So I think that's a good natural pause to move on to my favorite segment. What have you been playing this week? So I already said what I've been playing. So I've
Right.
been trying to catch up. I'm out here playing The Last of Us like a serial killer.
Yeah.
Trying to get through the game. I like it so far. I know no complaints. Like I know there was a big backlash. Like people like this the script leaked and people didn't like the direction it was going. Yada 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 yada.
Hmm. Right.
Just play the game. You know
Right.
what I mean? Like
Yeah.
just it's a video game. If you enjoyed the first one, you'll enjoy this one too. And then the storyline is the storyline, but I'm more into the mechanics of how the game plays anyway. But how about you? What have you been playing?
Yeah. So I was gonna say that, I already mentioned I finished off Last of Us 2. And let me tell you the ending real quick, so
No
to knock it out.
Oh
All right,
spoilers.
so
no!
it's no spoilers. No, no, it's just a great. I think it's such a great game, and like you said, I know there was some backlash, and people kind of get a little bit too political about the game and all this kind of stuff. But I think it's a great story, great, great cast, all this kind of stuff, voice actors and all that. But I completed that one a little while ago. But now I've been playing some Breath of the Wild on the Switch, and I've been how they call it, like farming these they call them like lionels. It's like these big half like lion, half horse like beasts that roam around the fields, and they drop these like spoils. And I needed to like upgrade my all my gear so I can level it up. So I've been doing that the last couple of months now, but or last couple of weeks here. But I've been trying to finish that up so I can get another like my third divine beast, because it's a total of four divine beasts, and then you can battle Ganon. So once I do that, I can kind of get through the game. But been playing that mostly. I'm still getting ready to. I still got Miles Morales queued up on a PS5, ready to hop into that once I kind of wrap this game up. But that's been my gaming for the last couple weeks here.
You
How
you
about
know,
you, Shane? You,
Yes, sir.
you been playing
I
games, or
haven't
the
been
kids been
playing
playing games for
games
you?
this past week. I've been catching up on all these different documentaries and movies I
Yeah.
keep putting on all my lists on all the different streaming services I have. You know what I mean? Like I've been keeping up on that stuff, but I haven't really played games. Like I mean,
Right.
I'll play games
Yeah.
like the Spider-Man Miles Morales. I beat that one a couple weeks ago. That was pretty good. Uh, yeah, it's shorter than the Spider-Man, the
Nice.
one from 2017, 2018, whatever that was, but it was still pretty
Right.
good because I'd already played Spider-Man. The mechanics were about the same. You know what I mean? If you played both of them, it was minor differences, but that was a good one I
Yeah.
played. But yeah, this week it's been mostly just catching up on Netflix and Amazon and Hulu and HBO Max, which Ryan put me on to. You know what I mean? So just putting
Yeah. Since you mentioned that, what kind of movies you guys got in your queues for like those various streaming,
it's
like
stuff that I don't know if I want
like
to put it
Netflix
out there,
or
but like,
Hulu, or
but no, I watch different
you don't even want to put it
documentaries
out?
and stuff like that. Just different political things and different things on race and things of that
Yeah.
nature and religion. That I watch. I've watched
Oh,
some of the
sure.
stuff on HBO Max is pretty good.
Yeah.
I watched this past week. I don't know if you guys have seen it. Tiger. It's a documentary somebody did about Tiger Woods. The first part of it premiered last Saturday, I think it was. I watched the first part, and I think the second part of it premieres tomorrow. It premieres on Sunday, but that was an interesting one that I was like, oh, okay. It was the first hour and a half. and then they got
Mm.
at least another hour and a half that's going to air tomorrow. That one was pretty good. But I've been watching a lot of the DC stuff. So like the different animated stuff like Batman and Superman and Justice League and stuff. So HBO Max has a lot of that stuff on there. I've been watching a lot of those.
Right.
But yeah,
That's what's up. Yeah, so HBO Max, I can't watch it here. It's not authorized in my region.
Oh, dang.
So I'm about yeah, man. Like as soon as it started getting real good, because I watched it for Lovecraft Country originally, and I was like, okay, I might keep it for all the DC stuff
a
that's coming
VPN.
out. But yeah, I can't access it
Yeah.
here without a crazy VPN. Yeah. So I'm thinking about canceling it until I get back to the States and then picking it back up. By then, I'll have a ton of movies on there anyway.
Hmm.
Like I know 2021 is supposed to have a bunch of releases. But Netflix works. So I've been Netflixing my face off. Um, like you said, not to get too political, but there's oh, I'm sorry, that was on Amazon Prime. So Netflix, I watched Outside the Wire,
Yeah, so
Anthony Mackie, sci-fi futuristic type movie. Actually, it suffers from the Netflix curse. It's like it's all this good money, good actors, but they don't know how to land a plane. I've never watched a Netflix original with a good ending. Yet I still watch them religiously
Right.
because they all start out so
man,
good.
you,
They have
you
my
really
favorite
think? Well,
actors in
so
them, but
here's
they
the thing. I
cannot land
hear
the
you
plane.
on a
Right.
lot of what Netflix has out now. I got to be honest with you. If it wasn't for T-Mobile paying for my Netflix, I probably wouldn't have. Yeah, I gotta be honest, right? But one that I did like, I thought
Same
was
here.
pretty good.
Yeah,
You ever see Extraction with Chris Hemsworth?
I did.
I
I
did
did
see
that
that one.
one. That
Yeah.
one was good, but they tried. They thought about it. They were like, "How can we make this bad?" At the very end,
How can we ruin this?
like let's make it
Right.
ambiguous for no reason. Which it worked. It still works, but like all their endings are trash. I don't know. I don't know why they do
Right.
that.
Right.
I don't know what they're thinking every time.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you're onto
But I
something.
still I'm still gonna keep watching them though.
Right.
It's still going to keep happening. And then on Amazon Prime, I watch The Expanse every week. It's a sci-fi one of my sci-fi jams. There was a show that started off on the Sci-Fi Channel, and then it was picked up by Netflix, and then it was canceled again, and it was picked up by Amazon. And it's in the fifth season, and it is amazing. Um, and then I watched Small Axe, AXE, Small Axe.
Mm.
It's five films that are British based, talking about the black struggle basically in the 60s, 70s, and 80s in Britain. And I had no idea. So the first one is really good. It's about the West Indian people and an actual trial that took place due to systematic and overt racism. And it has I can't remember her name, but Shuri from Black Panther. She actually plays a Black Panther
Oh.
activist in the movie.
Nice.
Yeah, it's really good though. She's the only actor I know because of how big she is. The rest of them are all British and West Indian actors, but it was actually really good,
Nice.
and it actually ended well, unlike a Netflix ending.
Right. Right.
So
Oh, dang.
I still got four more of those
Okay.
movies to watch though, because it's five movies. So I got four more.
That's what's up. Yeah, I heard there's a good series on Amazon Prime. I haven't watched it, but somebody's talking about it. But the Gangs of London, I think it's called. It's supposed to be some, obviously like, set in London with a bunch of gangs running around and doing some crazy, some craziness. I guess somebody was describing that. I guess in the first episode, somebody gets like thrown off a roof or something like that, and then
Okay.
and then when they get thrown off the roof, they grab the body and they go ahead and light it on fire while it's like laying on the ground. After getting thrown off, like to finish it off to make sure everything's good. Like, it's like some crazy like, I don't know, gangster stuff you won't see anyplace else. But I want to check that out. Put that in my queue. I'm gonna.
Yeah, I'm gonna add that to my list. You got me
Yeah.
on throwing me off a roof.
Yeah.
I'm already there. I'm already added to it.
Yeah. But it's
I
supposed to be
just
pretty good.
want y'all to
I
know
have to check it out too.
if any of those actions
But
should happen around y'all. All right, but this is This has been taped, right? So it's one of those things. They're gonna knock on your door when people around y'all start getting thrown
Right.
off roofs and lit on fire. You know what I mean?
Right. Right. Yeah, we're gonna have
Listen,
to.
I can watch violence on TV all day. I see something in real life, I'm like, I'm done.
Right. Right. Like I gotta go.
Like, they just throw that man off a roof.
Right.
Like, send me home. I'm out of here.
Yeah.
Like, I'm
Yeah. I need some counseling. Like somebody help me. No, that's good though. Yeah, I figure I try to keep it. I try to always have some new stuff in the queue. I try to. I've been watching a lot of kind of foreign stuff. There's a series on Netflix called Home Sweet, and it's some kind of like it's kind of dark, like kind of zombie slash like monster. Or Sweet Home is actually called Sweet Home. It's like monsters and these kind of like beasts running around this city, or like they're kind of taking over the world, I suppose. At least this country, and they're kind of like living like in kind of a zombie movie, like trying to fend for like food and water and all this kind of stuff. It's been pretty interesting. I watched like the first half of it. It's been pretty entertaining. So let's see how it is at the end. If it ends like a lot of,
What's it called?
it's called Sweet Home.
Sweet Home. You said it's on Netflix or Amazon?
That one's on Netflix.
Netflix. I'm gonna check that one out.
Yeah, yeah, it's pretty crazy. Definitely definitely catches your I don't know, it catches your attention. Some of the crazy monsters they put in there. It's pretty you don't want to watch it at night with the lights turned out. You get scared.
Levi's a grown man.
uh, I'm a grown man. I watched everything in the daytime. I'm scared. Nah. Actually, most of the time I watch it at night when the wife's asleep because I don't know. That's pretty much like the most of the time during the day I'm either working or spending time with the wife, and at nighttime that's when I turn on the Netflix shows and play all the games that have in the queue. So yeah, I'm not that much of a punk. I can watch it at night. I just keep one eye closed and other eyes kind of squinted. I'm like, oh
Man, those my jams.
yeah,
I'm definitely gonna jump on that. But the only movies I haven't gotten into yet on Netflix are all the Chadwick Boseman movies. Like,
mm,
I'm literally
yeah,
saving them because, like, obviously it's
yeah.
only a finite amount of movies. So I haven't watched Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. I haven't watched The Five Bloods. I haven't watched 21 Bridges, Message from the King,
Hmm.
any of those movies. I'm saving all those.
Right.
So
Yeah,
one of these days I'll dig into them.
absolutely. Yeah, I think those definitely want to check those out myself. I should put those in my queue as well.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that does it for this episode. So let me, because I always do this, I always put the thing away at the very end. Well, we're done. But I still have to say all these different websites that I never remember the name of. Here we go. So thank you, Shannon. Thank you, Levon. For those listening, please visit our website, www.theothersideofthefirewall.com. Please patronize our Patreon, which is also called The Other Side of the Firewall, where you'll get this episode 1 week early. So that'd be tomorrow, completely ad free. And then all the free feed people will get episode 8 that was previously on the Patreon. Please also join us on Twitter at @on_firewall. That's at @on_firewall. Then we have a Facebook page, which is The Other Side of the Firewall, and a Facebook group, which we're trying to build a community so you guys can ask us questions. You can kind of steer us on what we should be adding or taking away from the show, all that good stuff, which is also called The Other Side of the Firewall. We have an Instagram, The Other Side of the FW, shorthand for Firewall. And then we have our personal Twitter accounts. I am at RyRy Security Guy. That's RYRY Security Guy. And Levon.
You can hit me up at Levon Maynard, LEVON MAYNARD.
Yeah, please reach out to us. Please give us some feedback. I've been getting a little bit of feedback. I would like a lot more feedback. We're about to hit episode 10, so that's a milestone, right? It'll be 10 weeks of us going strong. We didn't take any breaks during the holiday. And we would like to, kind of see where you guys are at and what you think of the show. before we get to 20 and 30 and so on and so forth, right? Make those small changes to make the show a little bit more entertaining and give you your needs, whatever you're looking for. So
All right,
Thanks, guys.
everybody.
appreciate
Y'all
all
be
y'all,
easy, be safe. And Ryan,
and
go
thank you for listening.
Ravens.
Thanks, guys.
Ooh, ooh, I knew it was
Wow.
coming. The Bills gonna win. Hey, listeners. Please remember that you can support this podcast directly by becoming members of the show's Patreon. Here, you'll be able to listen to the podcast 7 days early, completely ad-free. However, in these trying times, we understand that you may not be able to become a Patreon just yet. In that case, please listen to the show once it's available on free feeds, leave us constructive feedback, and share with your blurred friends and family. Thank you.